What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a vinyl haul showcasing all of the records that I acquired within the month of February this year in 2021. We have a lot of stuff to get through in this haul. We have some Dream Theater grails. We have a Turkish pressing of Led Zeppelin II. We have a Record Store Day release, which entails with the Monterey Pop Festival of 1967. We have some dollar finds from Walmart, and much, much more. It is about to go deep, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest finds. Alright, so we are going to be kicking this haul off on a rather cool note. The girlfriend and I did some shopping in the area. We stopped by the local record store, which is the Rock Shop. I've done my record store vlogs there in the past and whatnot, and I managed to snag this record, and this record has been there the past couple of times that I've been at the record store, and it's always a case of, I'll get it the next time I'm there, maybe the next time, then the next time, and I figured, you know what, for $12, I might as well get it. It's used, but basically VG+. I mean, this thing is absolutely perfect, and that is Becoming the Beach Boys, highlights from the Height and Dorinda Morgan sessions. This right here features the earliest Beach Boys recordings. So it's tracks such as Surfin', Luau, Surfin' Safari, Surfer Girl, Beach Boys Stomp, Barbie, What Is a Young Girl Made Of? Just a lot of those early tracks. And particularly tracks like Surfin' and Luau made up their very first single, which was released on the Candix label, which was right before they got signed to Capitol. So it's right in that sort of formative period where all of these various recordings have been licensed by different labels and individuals. And they put this out back in 2016, and it's on multiple different colored vinyl and whatnot. And I figured, used VG Plus, $12. You really can't go wrong with it. And what's really cool with this particular collection is that it brings together both the alternate takes on side one, and then on side two, we have the master recordings, which is nice. So it's a very nice kind of historical document in terms of the Beach Boys recording career. This does come with a very nice heavy-duty insert with some liner notes here talking about the recordings. And then on the back, we have some scans of the 7-inch single labels, as well as scans of the tape boxes as well, which is nice. And this particular pressing comes on red vinyl, which is absolutely gorgeous, with a nice orange omnivore label there. So very happy to have this in the collection. And then we stopped by the Books A Million that I used to work at a couple years back. I always like coming in there because I get to touch base with the people that are still there. And of course, check out their vinyl section as well as the magazine section. They have some great music magazines. They get Prog Magazine, Classic Rock, Gold Mine, and all that. And I decided to pull the trigger on this record, and I came close to getting an AC/DC album that I needed to kind of fill a gap, but I decided to be a little bit more adventurous, and also this one was slightly cheaper. But I had a $5 rewards card and a $5 coupon, and I saved 10% because I am a club card member. And shockingly enough, I don't own any records by this artist, so this is indeed a first. And this particular album is celebrating a 50th anniversary this year. Janice, Joplin, Pearl. Perhaps a vinyl collection standard to own, basically. I don't know why I slept on getting a copy of this for as long as I've been collecting, but I figured it had to happen at some point, and I am very excited to give this album a listen. This right here is the music on vinyl pressing. They put out some fantastic products. I mean, that reissue label is phenomenal. Nice, high-quality pressings. Comes with the red Columbia label there. It is authentic to the original, and they always sound great too, so I'm sure this is going to be an absolutely wonderful sounding record. And MoFi recently announced a Ultra Disc one-step pressing of this, so I'm quite curious to see how that is going to sound. I don't have a pre-order down for it, but I'm sure for people out there that are going to own a copy, I'm sure they'll tell me all about it. But nonetheless, I'm very excited to dig into this. Janis Joplin's Pearl. All right, so here is something that I got from Roland Rex recently. I have been wanting to dig into this album for the longest time, and I have a lot of fun memories when it came out back in 2012. I was a sophomore in high school. I remember when the first single dropped from this album. I absolutely loved it, and they did a one-time vinyl pressing for this album back when it first came out, and now it commands hundreds of dollars. So this is indeed a unofficial pressing, full disclaimer, but hey, for 30 bucks, you really can't beat it. And that is Van Halen's A Different Kind of Truth. This was like the big reunion album. Well, not really reunion, since Michael Anthony wasn't in the band and said it was Wolfgang, but you basically know what I mean. But yeah, I am very excited to dig deeper into this album. I never owned it on CD before. I just really like the track Tattoo, and also it's Van Halen with David Lee Roth. You really can't go wrong with it. This does come with a printed inner sleeve, which I don't think this was part of the original artwork. It basically features some liner notes and a photo, which is taken from the back of Women and Children First. And this pressing also comes on red vinyl with nice custom labels as well, which is very cool. And if you hold it into the light, it kind of has a nice sort of hazy translucent effect as well, which is very, very nice. So definitely very excited to dig deeper into this album and give it a spin. Van Halen's A Different Kind of Truth. All right, so here is a brand new release that just came out fairly recently, and it is one that I am very excited to dig into. I had a chance to interview this particular artist recently on the channel, and if you saw that interview, you know exactly what I'm going to be showcasing. But to those that didn't see it, perhaps you might want to check it out to see for yourself who I interviewed. This album is of former Genesis guitarist and progressive rock virtuoso Steve Hackett, Under a Mediterranean Sky. This is his first acoustic album in about 17 years, since 2003's Tribute. And I just have to say, when Steve Hackett pulls out the nylon acoustic guitar and just goes acoustic, it is divine. He just shines on through when he plays acoustic. And what's really great about this particular album, as well as all his solo works in general in the past couple years, is that he draws a lot of influences from, you know, different cultures in the world. And this album is very much inspired by, you know, his travels around the world. So he kind of takes in all these elements and works them into his own work, which is quite interesting. That was one of the things that we discussed when I interviewed him, and it got me very excited to give this album a spin once it came out. And of course, since I did buy this from his official website, he did sign all the pre-orders. So he did sign it right there. And here is the back as well. And there's the man himself. Nice gatefold jacket. Nice picture of a sunset there. This does come with a very nice booklet, which has some photos and brief little write-ups for each of the songs. So you can kind of flip through it and dig deeper into the album as you listen and flip through this. And there's Steve with his wife, Jo. Very nice book. And of course, if you know me, I am all for collecting fancy colored variants, and I did manage to get the colored variant that was being made available on his web store, and that is on nice blue vinyl, which is very, very beautiful. Fits the overall kind of color aesthetic of the artwork, which is quite nice. And the album itself takes up 3 sides of vinyl, which means that the flip side of the second LP includes an etching of an acoustic guitar. Hopefully you can catch that on camera, which is quite fitting because it is an acoustic album, so you might as well feature an etching of an acoustic guitar. And then, along with all that, it also came with a free CD copy of the album, which is awesome because I can just put this in the car and listen to it straight from there. But no, this is a very exciting album that I am ready to dig into. When Steve and I spoke, you know, we kind of talked about the album a little bit, and he explained his creative process, and it just got me really, really intrigued. So this is an album that I am definitely excited to be spinning on the turntable. Steve Hackett, Under a Mediterranean Sky. All right, so here are some records that I picked up over at Sky Valley Records. These were records that Chuck had set aside for me. He had uploaded these to his Facebook group that I'm a part of, and as he uploads them, like what he gets in at the store, I just commented that I wanted a copy. He sets them aside, and then next time I'm in, I pay for them, and I snag them there. Simple as that. And I got my hands on a very interesting piece of early Van Halen history. It is a legal bootleg by the name of In the Club, Golden West Ballroom, 1976. So this is sometime before they released their first album. And what is interesting with this release, along with, early Van Halen shows in general, is that they would do a lot of covers in their set. And not just any covers. I mean, we're talking covers of, Kiss's Rock and Roll All Night, ZZ Top's Beer Drinkers and Hellraisers, Aerosmith's Sweet Emotion, Led Zeppelin's Hot On for Nowhere from the Presence album. And then they just bust into some original material with things such as On Fire, I'm the One, Running with the Devil, Ice Cream Man. Just some phenomenal stuff. Here's the front, featuring a really cool early photo of the band. Backside has the track list. This also comes with a nice gatefold, which features the man himself. Rest in peace, Eddie. 2 LP sets. I'll just showcase one of the labels since it's basically the same across the board. So, very nice release to have, and a great one to add to my now ever-growing Van Halen vinyl collection. So, very cool to get this. And now here is a very interesting piece of Led Zeppelin vinyl that I'm going to be showing you guys. I had become aware of this particular release within the past couple of months. And I was updating my Roland Rex wish list, and I saw that it was on the site. I added it, and it basically had sold out, and I figured it would get restocked at some point, or I'll just come across a copy at some point. Chuck said he got 1 copy in, and I figured, there's my opportunity. So I said I want a copy, and he managed to put a copy aside. And yeah, it's a very interesting one. I'll explain it a little bit as I show it. This right here is Led Zeppelin II. This is not the Led Zeppelin II that we all have become to, know and love. This right here, while it is an unofficial pressing, this is of the original Turkish pressing that came out back in 1969, which featured some completely different album artwork. This was done by a Turkish artist, so none of us Americans saw it. The Britons never saw it. This was exclusive to the country, along with the back cover as well, which features a photo of the band from like the first album period, along with the track list on the bottom. And what is cool with this particular release is that they scanned the classic not for sale, for promotional use only sticker, which indicates that it's basically like a promo kind of copy, which is cool. But the very fascinating part about this, if you guys have not noticed, mono. Now, Led Zeppelin II never got a dedicated mono mix. This is just simply the stereo mix folded down. And I think like when it comes down to doing like those old, fold downs back in the day for like radio stations and stuff, I'm not sure if they kind of tinkered with the EQ a bit to put more emphasis on the highs or, or the lows. I don't know too much about that, but, it's an interesting way to hear this album in terms of how it's all kind of balanced. It's basically fake mono. You know how there's fake stereo or duophonic stereo where they take a mono mix, treble and bass on both sides? This is fake mono. Stereo, folded down. So it's just a fascinating thing to have just from a collector standpoint. Just very interesting stuff. And what's cool with this pressing that I was able to get is that it comes on colored vinyl. This kind of comes on like a sort of yellowish kind of colored vinyl with that classic red and green Atlantic label. And this will sit very nicely alongside my official copy of Led Zeppelin II. But like I said, from a collector standpoint and just knowing the kind of history behind it and what it entails, it's just a really cool thing to have in the collection. And then, aside from picking up stuff that he had set aside for me, I also brought in some records that I wanted to trade in, and he gave me very good value for my trades. So I knew exactly what my budget was, and I figured I can just put it towards the balance that I was going to pay or leave with something, and I managed to leave with something. And I saw this record in a bin of records that he had just recently got in. Someone must have done another trade because this was not in the shrink wrap. This was open, but it was in perfect condition, but it didn't have a price tag on it. So I asked Chuck what the price was. He gave me a price, and my trade-in value was basically just a few dollars less than what he was asking for this record. So he basically said, you know, this is what your stuff is worth that you brought in. Just take that and we'll call it even. So I didn't have to pay the difference, which is very awesome of Chuck. And this is a release that has crossed my mind a few times. And it's a case where, you know, if I found it and I came across it, that's cool. And if not, no big deal. It's a very great historical document by all means. This right here is called Iconic Performances from the Monterey International Pop Festival. Monterey 1967. Historical, you know, festival. Jimi Hendrix lights the guitar on fire. That's pop culture right there, basically. But what I love about this 2 LP compilation is just, you know, it just shows you the amazing bands that played at this festival. Just right off the, you know, the top. Buffalo Springfield, Grateful Dead, Simon and Garfunkel, Jefferson Airplane, Big Brother and the Holding Company, The Who, Otis Redding, Hendrix, Mamas and the Papas. Classic. This is like a 1967 time capsule. It's just absolutely awesome. Now, this came out for Record Store Day back in 2018, I want to say. This is also numbered as well. I don't know if you can really tell. This is copy number 1760. Comes with like a nice kind of foil kind of cover. It shines very, very nice. Tip-on style jacket, gatefold sleeve. Features a summary talking about the festival with some photos. And then each record comes in a printed inner sleeve. There's the stage before all the action, you know, happened. And also breaks down each of the performances, which night they were from, who played and whatnot. But wait till you check out the color of the vinyl. And this comes on like, it's kind of like marbled salmon colored vinyl. Kind of has like a slight kind of splatter effect to it. We have like flecks of yellow, red, and white. Just makes a very nice hue overall. That is just absolutely gorgeous looking. And then I'll show you the other record as well. There's the other side with some credits. Another picture of the stage. And then basically the same concept. I mean, they're not really going to look the same. I mean, each record is going to have their own kind of marbled look to it. So that's really, really unique. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous looking pressing. The presentation is top notch. And definitely excited to get transported back into 1967 with the iconic performances from the Monterey International Pop Festival. Yes, the beard is gone. I'm telling you, it comes and goes at random times. But here is a record that I picked up with some Amazon store card points that I had built up. And it's actually of a band that I just recently found out about. One day I was listening to the Kurt Vile station on my Spotify account, and it was just kind of playing in the background, different songs by different bands. And a particular song by this band came on, and it really caught my ear, and I just screenshot my phone real quick, and I figured I would look into this band and perhaps seek out the album that this particular song came off of. And sure enough, Amazon managed to get it back in stock for like $14, and I did not pay much out of pocket, so it was a win-win, especially for a new discovery. The band is called Foxygen, and this album is called We Are the 21st Century Ambassadors of Peace and Magic. If you're an old soul, you'll definitely really dig this band. I'm telling you, you guys should really check these guys out. If you're into Bowie, Rolling Stones, and Velvet Underground, mix them all together and you basically get this band. They have a real kind of retro sound to them that is just very aesthetically pleasing. And the way that their songs are structured too, how it just kind of jumps from section to section, how like the tempos change and everything, it almost reminds me of some of the more modular compositions that Brian Wilson was doing during the Pet Sounds and Smiles era. So it's definitely a very interesting listen. And the track that I was talking about is the track Shuggy, which is really, really good. Here is the back cover. And this does come in a nice printed inner sleeve here with all the lyrics. And we have a little photo collage / artwork there. The record itself comes on standard black vinyl. Nice heavyweight vinyl too, I must say. with a nice custom label as well. So I'm definitely excited to give this album a listen and perhaps seek out more of Foxygen's work. It's always exciting when you dig into a new band that you have never heard of before. It just goes to show that you never stop discovering. Foxygens, we are the 21st century ambassadors of peace and magic. All right, guys, it is Grail time. This record right here is one that I have been wanting to get for a number of years, I should say. I actually had just talked about this record in my 2021 vinyl tag video, and I said that this was a record that I would hope to find this year, and it's already February, and I can cross it off my to-do list in terms of acquiring vinyl for the collection. If you've seen the video, you know exactly what album I'm talking about, but if you haven't seen it, the album that I am talking about is Dream Theater's Black Clouds and Silver Linings. Now, obviously, this is not the cover of the album, but this right here is the deluxe box set version. And before we dig into the box set, I just have to say that Black Clouds and Silver Linings holds a very special place in my heart as a Dream Theater fan because it is what has solidified me as a Dream Theater fan, because I was quite thrilled with the previous album that had come out, which was 2007's Systematic Chaos, but summer 2009, this never left my dad's, CD player in his car. We listened to this album front to back so many times. I lived and breathed this record, and it holds so much sentimental value, and it's just a part of my early childhood. And also, just to touch on the band's history, this album is very significant because it was Mike Portnoy's last drummer, Mike being a founding member of the band. He was also their drummer, producer, primary songwriter, a very integral part of the band. And after 25 years, the Dream Theater, train was kind of stale for him, and he just kind of left. So it's a real shame, but hey, he left on a really good note with this album, because this to me is one of their finest and also one of their more personal and more darker, heavier ones, I feel. But let's dig into the box set. So right off the bat, as you can see, it comes in a nice black velvet finish, which if it attracts dust, you better have a lint roller on hand because it's going to build up. And there's the Dream Theater emblem there, which has this nice kind of foil finish to it. And if you shine it in the light, it shines like that, which is really, really cool. We will take the lid out, and it has a nice kind of silver lining inside, which is very fitting for the album title, Black Clouds and Silver Linings. It does come with a lithograph, which features the album artwork. So this right here is the album cover. It is also numbered. I have copy number 1,631 out of 14,000. So they did a lot of these box sets. You can still relatively get the box set for a good price, but the vinyl alone, just the standalone album, is very hard to come by because back when it came out in 2009, it got a one-time pressing, and it's just very hard to find for a good price. It does come with 2 printed inner sleeves with credits, photos, lyrics, and artwork. And then the vinyl itself comes in nice polyline sleeves. And I have to say, upon investigating the vinyl, it is in very good plus near mint condition. May have never been played, maybe played once. So I'm very, very happy to get it in good shape. Now, I got the box set for a very good price of roughly $50, and that is simply because the box set is incomplete, and it does not come with the mouse pad, which features the album artwork, which, to be honest, I could live without. It also does not come with the 3 CD deluxe edition, as well as an exclusive DVD of all the stems of the multi-track, so you can kind of make your own mixes, which is kind of cool. That's kind of a bummer, but to be honest, because since the discs would already go here, I already own the 3 CD deluxe set, which they sold separate. So watch, I'm going to make this box set quasi-complete. Just like that. Complete box now. I can't complain. So yeah, well, like I said, this is a grail that I have been wanting to get for a very long time, and very happy to get my hands on a copy of this album. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a trip down nostalgia lane as I listen to this, and I basically relive summer 2009 all over again. Fantastic find. Dream Theater's Black Clouds and Silver Linings deluxe box set. Well, Walmart is at it again. A couple months back, we had the $15 sale, and now we have the $1 sale. That's right, $1. So basically, I became aware of this thing. I can't even call it a sale because it's not advertised or anything in circulars or on their website, but someone had posted on one of the Facebook vinyl pages that I follow a stack of albums, and he said that select albums were ringing up as $1. Don't know if it's a system glitch or they're, marking stuff down as clearance or they're discontinuing certain things. Who really knows? But hey, for us vinyl collectors to get exclusives or new pieces of vinyl still sealed for $1, it's too good to be true. And I kind of went into this not expecting anything big because let's face it, it's way too good to be true. So I went to 2 Walmarts in my neck of the woods, and literally I brought stacks of records to an employee and I said, could you please scan these and tell me what they ring up as? And some stuff, rang up as full price. Some stuff rang up as lower than what was ticketed. I don't know if they're going to be repricing their vinyl section or some stuff's on sale. Who really knows? But I did manage to find a couple of $1 records. And what's really cool, and this is awesome for my benefit, I was able to get stuff for $1 that I don't have any records of in my collection. So to buy new music for $1, to just dig into it from, fresh ears, it's a perfect opportunity. So I managed to snag Santana's Greatest Hits. Now, I do like me some Santana, a couple songs here and there I really do like. I remember Smooth was a huge hit when I was younger, and that was like one of my childhood jams. But in terms of the old classic stuff, I don't have anything, so I figured this would be a good place to start. Evil Ways, Black Magic Woman, of course, Oi Como Va, all good stuff here. This is a Walmart exclusive pressing, and this comes pressed on, once I get it out, milky clear vinyl, and there's that classic red Columbia label, so this is very nice to have and a good find to find for $1, considering that it's a Walmart exclusive. And next up, this one I'm actually quite excited to dig into. Like I said, I don't have any records by this band, but hey, for $1, and it's a double LP too, I should say, you can't go wrong. Beastie Boys, Ill Communication. Now, to be quite honest, when it comes down to the Beastie Boys, a lot of the stuff that I know by them is off of the License to Ill album, but to be quite honest on this one, all I know is Sabotage. And that's it. So I get to experience the album now. So it'll be a fun listen indeed. Front and back, gatefold sleeve with lyrics and artwork. And also love the touch of the rice paper sleeves here. Pressed at RTI as well, according to the Dead Wax. Nice custom label there as well. And also nice heavyweight pressing too, I must say. So, yeah. Telling you. Walmart has got it made. I mean, I hate to say, look, I buy from mom and pop and, other places, but when it comes down to $15 sales and stuff ringing up as $1, you can't go wrong. All right, so word got out that there is some clearance vinyl over at Target, so I decided to take a ride over at the one closest to me. And while my local Target has a relatively good vinyl section in terms of variety and such, there was not really too much in terms of clearance, and it was just a matter of, I guess, picking up ones that were of interest to me and seeing what they rang up as, because personally, I was trying to go after exclusives that were on clearance because they offer some really cool ones, and I managed to snag just one, but for a relatively good price at around $10, which is really not bad. And it is Who's Greatest Hits. Yes, you can never have too many Who compilations. If you remember a couple months back, I got the Icon compilation, which was exclusive to Walmart, and now I'm getting this exclusive to Target. And to be quite honest, I think this one does a better job in terms of focusing on the band's entire career, because I felt the Icon compilation kind of had some gaps that were missing, whereas with this, I think it does a relatively good job at, featuring every main point in The Who's career. So you really can't go wrong with it. Includes the basic tracks that you would expect. Substitute, The Seeker, Magic Bus, Pinball Wizard, Happy Jack, Squeeze Box, 515, you know, everything that you could possibly want. Front and back. And then we have a printed inner sleeve here with a photo collage. And there's Moon the Loon right there. And since this is a Target exclusive, and also very fitting as well, this comes pressed on red vinyl with that red Geffen label. And this compilation as well, along with the Icon compilation, was mastered by Miles Showell over at Abbey Road. So that means it's going to sound really, really good. But yeah, I figured for $10 and for collecting purposes, might as well snag it. I mean, I've had my eye on this for a while. I just kind of held off. But hey, dropped in price, right time. Who's Greatest Hits? All right, guys, so the last time that I went to Sky Valley Records, on the same day after I had left, Chuck had uploaded some photos of some new stuff that he got in at the shop, and these were definitely trade-ins that were brought in by somebody, and they must have been a big Kiss fan, because there were a lot of Kiss records featured within the stuff that Chuck was posting, and he posted this record, and I have been hunting down this record for the longest time. I slept on it when it came out back in 2016. I remember I bought the CD when it came out, but I didn't get the vinyl. And considering the fact that I work at FYE, there was an FYE exclusive that for some reason I failed to pick up, and just, I was really scrounging around for a copy, and I was hoping that there would be a repress at some point. But needless to say, Chuck got in one copy, so I'm guessing whoever brought this in just had one copy, and I commented "want" in all caps, and he said "sold, it's yours." And I am so glad to have a gap filler in my Ace Frehley collection. This right here is Origins Volume 1. Now, recently he had done Origins Volume 2, and this is where it all started back in 2016 when this first came out. Fantastic covers on here. You have Cream's White Room, The Stones' Street Fighting Man, Hendrix' Spanish Castle Magic, Fire and Water by Free, Zeppelin's Bring It On Home. He also does a cover of Kiss's own Parasite, Cold Gin. He even does Rock and Roll Hell from the Creatures of the Night album. An album that, even though he does appear on the cover, he did not play on the record. So it's kind of cool to see him do a rendition of that. Here is the artwork here. Here is the back. Opens up and we have a nice gatefold sleeve with credits right there. And wait till you guys see the color of the vinyl of this pressing, because this is absolutely gorgeous. This comes pressed on marbled blue vinyl. As you can see, we kind of have some hues of purple, white, and black, and it just gives this overall gorgeous marble effect. Just an absolutely gorgeous pressing indeed, and just for the hell of it, I'll even show you the second LP, because obviously not one is going to look the same. There it is. An absolutely gorgeous looking record, and it's a record that I have been certainly wanting for a very long time, and I can cross this off my Ace Frehley list. This is the one piece of my Ace collection that I've just been longing to get, and it just seemed impossible up until when I saw that Chuck got a copy, and it's thanks to him and Sky Valley Records that I finally got my hands on it. Ace Frehley, Origins Volume 1. I think I finally have fallen off the deep end. That's right, this is Tiny Tim live at the Royal Albert Hall. Now, let me explain. Recently, I have fallen down a Tiny Tim rabbit hole. I don't know how I got there, but I fell down it. I stumbled across a YouTube documentary, like a mini 30-minute YouTube documentary talking about Tiny Tim and his career. And it was very fascinating, and just in general, I tend to have this sort of attraction to weird artists and weird music that is completely outside of what I normally listen to. So an artist like Tiny Tim certainly does reside with albums such as Trout Mask Replica and the John and Yoko albums that I have. So it's definitely something that is not for everybody. but there is a fascinating quality to Tiny Tim's artistry, and I can see why it's not for everyone. Of course, just right off the bat, the high falsetto and the ukulele and all, but in a sense, after watching the YouTube documentary that I found, Tiny Tim was very much like a music historian because he drew a lot of his influences from, 1920s crooners, and he even goes as far as doing like covers of, Bob Dylan and Rolling Stones and Beatles tracks. So he kind of covers a lot of, areas, in his work. But ever since, going down that rabbit hole, I figured I might as well start tracking down some releases. Now, of course, he did, a couple of albums in the late 60s and such, but this is one of the notable posthumous albums that have come out, which is called Live at the Royal Albert Hall. I had some Discover cashback bonus points that I put towards this, got it for a mere $20. And this originally came out on CD in 2000 by Rhino Handmade, but this vinyl pressing came out as part of Record Store Day 2019. And I remember seeing this at the Rock Shop right around the time Record Store Day had passed, and I had went there recently trying to see if maybe no one had bought it, because who exactly would? And I was kind of shocked to see that it wasn't there, so I figured when the time came I would track this down. And this is put out by a label called Run Out Groove, which is run by Rhino. Basically, you vote on releases and Rhino will put it out on this kind of small subsidiary label, and this is one of those releases. And I do have to say, nice tip-on style glossy jacket. This was recorded at the Royal Albert Hall in London on October 30th, 1968. Of course, you have standards on here such as Living in the Sunlight, Loving in the Moonlight, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, of course, that being his signature track. But he also does, like I said, covers of Like a Rolling Stone, Can't Get No Satisfaction, Nowhere Man. So you get it all here. Nice gatefold sleeve too. And also, I should say that this artwork is special to the vinyl version. This did not appear on the original CD. We also have an insert here. And then this comes on 2 LPs, and they come pressed on red vinyl, which is quite nice. And there's that old-fashioned Reprise Records label there, which is very nice. But yeah, hopefully this part of the vinyl haul hasn't turned you off completely. You're always bound to see some weird left turns in my vinyl hauls when it comes to the artists and such that I'm into, because I'm into a lot of different things. But yeah, I think this is one that I've definitely fallen off the deep end. Tiny Tim, Live at the Royal Albert Hall. All right, guys, so here is another Dream Theater grail that I just got my hands on. Basically, between this album and Black Clouds and Silver Linings, those two albums mean so much to me, and now I can say I finally have them. And the album that I am talking about is this album. This is 2007's Systematic Chaos. This is an extremely underrated Dream Theater album, but I also feel that it's one that is quite fresh for them, because having done, various albums leading up to this, such as Train of Thought, Octavarium, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Scenes from Memory, there was always an underlying concept or theme going on around those albums. And with this record, they basically worked with a fresh slate and they just did whatever they wanted to do. And we have some fantastic moments on this album, such as In the Presence of Enemies, which basically bookends the album, part 1 and 2. Forsaken, Constant Motion, The Dark Eternal Night. I mean, this is just a phenomenal, phenomenal album. I remember listening to this a lot when it came out because my dad's a big Dream Theater fan, and this album basically kind of introduced me more to Dream Theater, but it wasn't until Black Clouds and Silver Linings that I basically became a full-fledged Dream Theater nut. But enough of that. Managed to get this from a Discogs seller, VG Plus, for a very good price, because like Black Clouds, it is out of print. It got 2 vinyl pressings back in 2007. The first pressing was a mispress because they mispressed the second LP. It repeated the next to last song on the album. So basically you didn't get the full album. You got a repeat of that track. But then this right here is the 2007 repressing, which fixed that error. And then there was a German pressing from 2013 that was done. And that's basically it. So I was very happy to get it for a very good price. And also buy with the confidence that it was the repress, because some copies that are on the market, they're still sealed and some people don't really know what exactly it is. So I got very, very lucky. But then again, it was advertised as being the repress. So awesome artwork, gatefold sleeve as you saw. This also comes with a nice little booklet with some artwork, as well as lyrics, which is very cool. 2 LPs pressed on very nice heavyweight vinyl. Nice custom label as well, and the labels are all the same across the board, so I'll just show this one. Absolutely phenomenal record, and definitely excited to give this a spin on the old turntable. Another Dream Theater album that has a very special place in my heart, now finally in the collection. Dream Theater's Systematic Chaos. All right, so here's a rather impromptu purchase that I made recently. My friend Andrew Daly, who had interviewed me on his Vinyl Writer blog, we've been keeping in contact. We like to talk about Kiss vinyl and such. And he sent me a link to Bruce Kulick's web store. Of course, Bruce Kulick was in Kiss in the 80s going into the 90s. And it was vinyl copies of his album BK3. Apparently, a couple of copies were posted up on the website. And I said, "Did you get a copy?" And he said, "Well, there was 5 left." And then I said, "Now there's 3 left." So I got my hands on a copy of it. This album came out back in 2010, and the reason why it's called BK3 is simply because it is his 3rd solo album. And we do have some members of the Kiss family tree featured on this album. Gene Simmons appears on the song Ain't Gonna Die. John Corabi, who was in Motley Crue back in the 90s, appears on a track. Hand of the King features Nick Simmons on vocals, Gene Simmons' son. Eric Singer's on this. Steve Lukather's on here. All kinds of guests. And I don't have any Bruce Kulick solo stuff on vinyl, so this is a first for me. I've always liked Bruce as a guitarist. I like his style, and I'm definitely excited to give this album a listen. And does come with a nice printed inner sleeve here. There's the man himself with all the credits, some photos, and this pressing comes pressed on red vinyl. Comes with a nice kind of shiny silver label there, which is very solid. So, like I said, first piece of Bruce Kulick solo vinyl in my collection, and I think this is the only album of his that's available on vinyl. I'll have to double check. He's done a couple of other ones before this one that I'll have to check out for myself at some point. But if they get vinyl pressings, I'll definitely get them, because now I have a new Kiss alumnus vinyl collection to build. Bruce Kulick, BK3. So there you guys go. That is my vinyl haul of all the records that I acquired within the month of February this year in 2021. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support this channel, be sure to check me out on Patreon. See you guys in the next video. And most importantly, keep the records spinning.